Welcome to True North. This is a podcast that we are focusing on helping you successfully find your way forward. Right? So I'm Frank Griffin. This is Mark Davis. We are co-creators of True North, and we're excited about this particular episode where we have taken questions from our subscribers.
Yes.
Right? And we want to address these questions. We have a lot that we want to cover in this series of podcasts. And we'll get into some high-level discussions on finance, but we want to absolutely address your questions, right? So we're going to take a little time and just kind of go through the list, Mark. Is that all right?
Yep. Let's please like and subscribe
Thank you.
to our channel.
Absolutely.
Because wherever you find us, what format, Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, we need your help so we can keep bringing you this content.
Yeah.
And as Frank mentioned, our goal is to help you.
Yes.
Help find your path forward. 3 things we heavily focus on.
Good.
Faith, family, and finance.
Good.
We'll get into other things, but they'll tend to roll up into those major buckets.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, happy to get questions from our subscribers. So, here we go.
Thank you. Thank you. And we are trying to describe these areas in a way where you understand it. Right, we want to not try to overcomplicate it. It's basic math, as Mark continues to remind us. So we want to continue that. If for whatever reason, are there other questions that you want explanation about or discussion, just go ahead and let us know that in whatever platform that you are reaching out to us. Let us know, and we will address it in a future episode.
And you reminded me, Frank, I can't let this go.
Good.
Every episode on finance, you have to remember, it's about discipline and arithmetic.
Excellent.
You have to remember those 2 things.
Be disciplined
and
have basic arithmetic.
Exactly. Don't run from it.
Okay.
Because finance is about arithmetic. And since part of our audience, a large percentage of our audience is African American, the wealth gap bugs me to no end.
It bugs me also.
And the key thing in that is understanding arithmetic. We don't always pick up on that, or we shy away from it. You can't do that. Math is an absolute science.
Absolutely.
As is arithmetic.
I agree.
We have to do those because then you have the answer. You shouldn't ask questions you don't know the answer to.
Good.
In today's world of the internet, there's not much you can't find.
It's there.
Calculators,
Absolutely.
Examples, etc. So there's plenty out there.
That's an excellent point. Let's just take a second there and unpack that a little bit. So with basic math, you can put a plan together today and reach that goal in whatever subscribed time that you have based on that plan. Because it's math.
And write it down.
Write it down. Yeah, you're much more willing to follow the path if you write it down. Yeah.
Even if you're not comfortable, do things that are uncomfortable because there's a better you on the other side. Write it down.
Excellent.
Because it'll also allow you a point of reference. When you've grown, you'll look back to how you used to think.
Good.
And how you think today.
Excellent.
And if it's no difference, you probably haven't done anything any better than you were doing.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah. One of the things we talked about before is this uncomfortableness with investments.
Yes.
Right? Many times, several people, some of our peers feel that it's gambling. Right? And we talked about this where in Vegas, over time, absolutely, you will lose.
How could Vegas be so big and glitz and glam
if
you were winning?
Yeah, that's gambling. You're going to lose.
Yeah.
But the stock market.
Arithmetic.
Yeah, it's arithmetic. It's arithmetic. You can look at the history, and over time, you'll lose. But if you look at investments, over time, you win.
Yes.
Yeah. You can go back decades. Over time, you will win.
Like S2EP 500, which is a collection of the 500 largest companies. You'll average somewhere around 9% or so.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on the exact number.
Right.
But it's around that ballpark. So you calculate what 9% brings you over a 25-year period. It's a staggering number.
It is.
And if you want to be a millionaire, investing early in your life is key.
And it'll happen.
And then be disciplined and not
That's
mess
right.
with it.
That's exactly
Let
right.
it go. This isn't savings. This is investing.
That's right.
We'll have a whole episode on investing in the future.
Excellent. Excellent. Building wealth, and you can do that by being disciplined and doing math. Basic math.
Yes.
That's excellent. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at 9%, and I don't know the exact numbers, but over a few years, let's say between 6 and 8 years, your money will double.
Yes.
Your money will double.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rule of 72s.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's it.
Look that one up.
The rule of 72.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So over time, your money will double if you are disciplined and you do the math. Right?
That's it.
All right. Let's get into these questions.
Sure.
From our subscribers. Great. Now, the first question here from one of our subscribers is, what is the difference between savings and an emergency fund, and when is it okay to use either?
I'm going to answer this question under the assumption you don't have anything.
Good. Okay.
It's a continuum. The first thing you need to target is your emergency fund.
Good.
So if it's a dual income family, you need to be able to cover your monthly expenses, assuming one of those incomes is not available for whatever reason. So 2 to 3 months is fundamental. You have to have that. 6 months is preferable, and the higher level job you have, if you're in the executive ranks, if you will, probably want at least a year, because times can get tough in terms of.
And it's tough to find and replace those jobs.
Exactly. So let's stick with the basics, if you will. A younger couple just starting off, you got to start saving money.
Yes.
So you're saving towards your emergency fund first.
Yes.
So if tax returns come in or windfall comes in, you want to put that up first to make sure we can take care of ourselves in the event we lose income.
Okay.
From there, after you have that put away, and that should be in something that's very accessible. So I wouldn't have that in the stock market.
Correct.
I wouldn't have that invested.
It needs to be liquid.
Exactly.
Accessible, as you said.
And then from there, you move on to your savings. Okay. So once you have that emergency fund set, you move to your savings.
Emergency fund first.
Yes.
To protect you.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if you think about it, again, been there before as a young couple, the refrigerator goes out. The stove goes out. You don't want that to be a crisis.
That's correct.
So when you use that, that could be one case you could use part of your emergency fund.
Excellent.
And when you get savings built up, you use your savings.
That's right.
So if the emergency fund was $2,000, and your savings was up to another $6,000, so $8,000, you start picking off the savings before you dipped into your emergency. You have to have the emergency. So as it's a continuum to build up, you ramp it down accordingly. I'd spend my savings before I would spend into the emergency. Yeah, so that's why it's called emergency.
That's right. Only for serious emergencies.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. And then when you use it, you want to try to build it back up.
Yes, you do. You do.
Excellent.
Then you get to a point, we'll talk about it more, where the savings of big enough number should be invested.
So you're okay.
Yeah, because that money you want working for you. You want that to be your employee.
Good.
So
excellent.
We'll talk about that in a future episode.
Excellent, excellent. But focus on the emergency fund, then the savings.
Yes.
Outstanding. All right. Thank you for that. Are you suggesting we should have a 401k, savings, and emergency fund?
Yes.
Okay.
Next question. That's just good. Absolutely.
Yes, you're saying no. Absolutely. So you want all three?
Yes, you do.
Talk about the 401k. Why is it so important to have a 401k? So you told the audience, the subscribers, you need an emergency fund. You work on your savings. Why should I focus on 401k?
Sooner or later, you're going to retire, and
that's
you
the
want
goal.
some money that you can help live off of.
Good.
Right now, a large percentage of retirees only have Social Security.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. Or it tapers your lifestyle down to very meager.
That's correct.
I mean, you can't do a whole lot with just Social Security.
That's right.
And who knows when the government's going to choose to play with Social Security.
That's right.
I don't know that they can stop it because too many people would be
required. That's right.
Trouble.
The economy will fall apart.
Yes.
Exactly right.
So 401k gives you a investment vehicle that is automatically pulled from your check, which is a great thing because you don't need to pay attention to it.
So you adjust to not having it.
Exactly.
So you are in favor of monies coming out automatically.
Oh, definitely, especially for younger couples, because if the money comes into the house, you probably have something to spend it on. You need to.
Yeah.
It might be the braces you've been holding off on. If you have to have that done, it's a different story.
Good.
But once you get used to living at a level below what that 401k would come into your paycheck, you won't even notice it.
That's
and
good.
then some companies now have an automatic increase.
A match.
So if I get we're getting a match in a second.
Okay.
But if my salary increases,
Yes.
it'll add to it.
I see.
Add to my
I see what you're saying. So it would increase my
contribution.
Yeah, absolutely, your contribution.
And as we talked about savings in a previous podcast, and we'll deal with this more, the 401k match, or whether it's a 403b, I don't know all the other ones, but those vehicles, if they are matched, that's the first place you need to go to save money. Because we talked about this before. I'm going to give you 100% of the money you invest, let's say 3%.
Right, for the first 3%.
Yeah. If you say, I'm going to do 1%, well, you're taking 2% of the money I was going to give you.
Right. You're not even accepting free money.
Exactly.
That's
you're lighting that on fire. So that's why you have to have your 401k. Best vehicle for saving, best vehicle to use to become a millionaire.
Absolutely.
Best vehicle to use. Because ultimately that's invested. And you can't get to it easily. And you don't want to.
That's good. Let's talk a little bit. Let's pause. Because the idea of some of our subscribers listening to us of being a millionaire, they think is beyond the ability to obtain. And we would argue it's in everyone's grasp.
Easy.
If you have a job, right, that's paying you on a consistent basis, that you work for 30, 40 years, you could be a millionaire.
Yeah.
If you start early enough.
Quickly.
Absolutely.
Yes. You said the key word there, steady job.
Steady job.
Yeah. Without a steady cash flow, you got a challenge. In more ways than one, you got a challenge.
But you have a lot of subscribers that are working hard and finding a job and having a steady income. They do that all the time, right? And so if you invest early, right, and that's a whole nother area, the whole time value of money. But if you invest early, right, you too can be a millionaire.
Yes, exactly.
Can be a millionaire.
Discipline.
That's discipline in arithmetic.
Yep. Put the discipline on the front end. I'm going to not spend this money. I'm going to operate my life as if I didn't have it. There's the beginning of your path to your $1 million.
Absolutely.
Net worth $1 million.
That's right. You are worth $1 million.
Yeah.
And the arithmetic, there's vehicles now, even online, you can play around with this, right? We talked about the standard return on investment for S2EP 500, right? It's about 9%. You can say, if I give this much, right, and then over an amount of time, right, then I can be a millionaire in so many years. It'll let you know that.
Yes,
absolutely. If you are disciplined.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no reason to not know in the day and age of Google and the internet. There's no reason you shouldn't.
You can look at that and determine, and get excited about it. And lock into that.
So, connecting some of the dots we've shared before on the podcast is, you want to make it to that $1 million level.
Yeah.
You use your calculator to figure out what that takes to get there. And you'll find that the earlier you start, the easier it becomes.
Absolutely.
Even if it's a meager amount of money.
That's correct.
$100 a month. It's going to help you get there much, much quicker. If I start at 25, you start at 35, I quit. You put in 3 times as much as I did.
Never catch up.
You'll never catch me. And I stopped when you started.
That's exactly right.
So that's, and we'll get more specific into that example.
That's an amazing thing.
Yeah, folks, you probably have heard it before, but we've lived it. So we know.
I've seen it.
What it's been on paper, well, in reality, it works.
Absolutely.
So that's a heavy dive into the 401k. the savings and emergency fund we really just covered before, so we don't need to revisit that. But I think you can see where the 401k fits. It's a separate piece. Your emergency fund and your savings are not your retirement tool.
No, it's a
your 401k is.
It's long term.
And if you're fortunate, you have Social Security, 401k, and maybe something else.
A pension.
Yeah,
and some companies
that's
they have pensions. That's right.
That allows you to retire in a way that you can go to Hawaii. You know, you can do the things you want to do.
Absolutely.
Yes. You know.
Yeah. Multiple streams of income coming in.
Yeah.
If you're disciplined.
Yes.
You understand your math.
Yes.
That's
it.
All right. Number 3 here from one of our subscribers says, if I'm living paycheck to paycheck, should I prioritize eliminating debt or starting a savings? Good question.
Yeah, very good question.
Yeah.
With a chuckle, I'll tell you, I've tried to do them both at the same time.
Tough.
It does not
work. You wouldn't even say tough.
It doesn't work. It does not work.
Yeah.
Automatic savings is a different ball game because you don't have that. So you have to set that aside.
Yeah.
Beyond that, doesn't work.
Yeah. To get out of debt, you need to focus on getting out of debt.
Exactly.
Savings, you got to focus on savings.
That's right.
Yeah, but debt reduction, and I understand that absolutely because it continues to grow. Just like you grow your savings, you can grow your debt.
Yes.
Very quickly.
Yes.
Very quickly. So you're saying that you need to prioritize one or the other. And so talk a little bit about the prioritization here.
For what makes the most sense is a debt reduction.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you probably might be struggling a bit with your cash flow if you haven't reduced your debt.
That's correct.
How you attack the debt is you look at the lowest balance and the highest interest rate.
That's right.
So let's say I owe $750 on a credit card.
Okay.
That's 25% interest rate.
Okay.
That's the one I go after, as opposed to 20% interest rate with a $5,000 balance.
Right.
That $5,000 is tough for you to get to.
Deal. Yeah.
But you get the first one off of you, then you start applying your money to that.
So you take those small chunks, and then you have more money to play with, to work with, and you put that on the next one.
Yep.
And then you have more money to work with, and slowly you're going to go after that $5,000.
Exactly.
You throw it at.
And you notice there's a consistent theme through everything we're talking about. Quit hitting my microphone. Discipline.
Discipline.
Same thing.
Yeah.
You won't get there if you're not disciplined.
Yeah.
You can talk about it.
Yeah.
But you can't do it if you're not disciplined.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And windfalls. We talked a little bit about this.
Yeah.
So you get a windfall for whatever reason. You got a great bonus at work. Take some of that money and enjoy yourself. Take the other parts of that money and work through these other things. Emergency fund, saving, and debt reduction. Actually, emergency fund, debt reduction is where I would go. So
before you even focus on savings.
Yeah.
Because once you have the emergency fund, right? Once you eliminate the debt, you'll have some money you can save.
Exactly.
Typically, if you have debt, you don't have money to save anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not there. Yeah. So to be able to save, you need to get rid of the debt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can tell you from experience, you get to the point where you're not buying as much, you're not borrowing as much as you get older.
That's right.
You don't. All these things.
And your income is higher.
And your income is higher.
So you have more money to play with if you just manage it early on. And what is that you tell us when you're younger? You need more things. That's what happens.
Yes.
You have your minimal in your income that you bring in, but you have to maximize in the things because you don't have anything.
You don't have anything.
So you need the car, furniture, all that.
Appliances. You need it all.
You need it all.
Yeah. But you get in our season of life.
Yeah. It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal at all.
But you got to get through this, those 20s and the 30s.
Yeah.
You got to get through that.
I have one young man who sees me now and wants to make that leap. And it's like, you haven't sacrificed him, man. Yeah. There's a sowing and a reaping time. Right. You just happened to see me in the reaping season. You didn't see me when I had 3 outfits for work every day.
Right.
I sacrificed. I had to be disciplined and not go spend money on myself.
That's right.
And my wife did the same thing.
Yes, I know.
We did what we had to do.
That's correct.
And now we're on the other side. We can do whatever we want to do.
My
That's
wife,
not a negative, and we're giving money in different places to help other people.
you're giving it away.
We started a scholarship this year.
Beautiful.
Wrote it down. Remember, we talked about that before.
Mm-hmm.
Write your vision down, make it plain,
Mm-hmm.
and then live it.
That's beautiful.
Embrace it. It didn't happen overnight, but again, kind of figured out how to do it, how to help people. Boom, there it is. So it's in my wife's name, by the way.
Something is it?
Yes.
What's it called?
Rochelle M. Davis Scholarship.
Is that right? Beautiful,
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
You mentioned something. If you're married, you need to partner with your partner.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that is,
Yeah.
you cannot get there if you're going two different directions. You need
Sure can.
you need to kind of combine your
Yeah.
resources
Yeah.
to really attack this this discipline, this plan, or whatever you need to, or the direction you're going.
Yes.
Right? You can't go in two different directions.
Yes. And for me personally, this is just an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
We never had separate checking accounts.
That's my opinion also.
And it's the money together.
It
It's
works.
like 1 plus 1
It's three.
is just so powerful.
It's synergy.
It's synergies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, not that we're going away from math, but it's the truth. Let me make it a little more practical.
Good.
If my wife liked real expensive cars, and so did I.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she wants what she wants, I want what I want. Guess what? We got 2 expensive cars and 2 expensive car payments.
Yeah.
And we're going the other direction.
Yeah. We're not building wealth there.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
appreciating assets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Versus you and your wife are in
Yes,
harmony.
That's
You
right.
say, we're going to have one nice car,
That's right.
and you're going for a house, we're going for a house.
Yeah.
You're going to qualify for a lot nicer house than I can qualify
When you
for.
don't have a lot of money in car payments.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's important. It was times where I remember my wife, years, she wouldn't buy nothing for herself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Years.
Yes.
Years.
Yeah.
She wouldn't even enjoy going to, we go with families, going to the malls, because
Yeah.
she knew that we were in a season where we couldn't buy. And we were not in that season.
Exactly.
But we were disciplined, right?
Mhm.
And that season changed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that partnership is important. And I'm an advocate, and as a pastor, I advocate it. It's up to you, whatever works for your
Mhm.
family. But yeah, the separate money in a married couple, I would never recommend. Do you,
Yeah.
right? Whatever you is.
Mhm.
But when you combine those funds, I think you can get there more.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're focusing on it.
Isn't it in the word that one can slay
1,000 to
10,000?
10,000. And absolutely, that's true.
Yeah.
God is about unity.
Yes.
He says when 2 touch and agree, all things are possible.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes. But it takes 2.
Yes.
It's not 2 separate, but 2
Yeah.
together. So God is into unity.
Yeah.
So there's a supernatural aspect of it.
That's absolutely
Yeah,
right.
there's no doubt about that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, that's outstanding. There was a question here talking about how to prioritize what debt to tackle first, but you talked about that, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you talked about, kind of the lowest balance but the highest interest rate.
Yep.
Yeah, and then pick them off.
Yep. And remember,
Write it down. Write it
Yeah.
down. So you know what your problem is.
Exactly.
That's
You'll
good.
see exactly what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's no mystery.
That's
we,
good.
We a lot of times we do things that it's like it's a mystery. No,
Math is not
it's
mystical,
not.
is it?
It's an
not.
absolute science.
Spreadsheet, you put in numbers, it'll
Yeah.
give you an output. You put in
Exactly.
inputs, it'll give you an output.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So that's the way I would attack it. If you came to my house, you'd be surprised. You can look back in certain drawers 25 years ago
That's my
when
wife.
I was doing that. I don't throw, when I see them, I can't throw them away. It's
Right,
like,
right.
man, this is real
It's too
tattered.
good.
But man, I was on a
The
roll.
paper's
back then.
yellow.
Exactly. We're on the right track.
That's
and
good.
it paid off. For
Yeah,
us.
but you wrote it down.
Absolutely.
The Bible says write the vision and make it plain.
Make it
Yeah,
plain.
so that's a good thing. All right. Next subscriber said, is it a good thing to pay off loans early when possible? Very good questions.
Very good.
Yeah.
Only if the interest rate is high.
That's good. Say more. That's
Yeah.
good.
If it's a low interest rate, like we've seen the previous 10 years, we're in an odd space
We're in
right
our
now.
space, but in the
As
previous
is-
10 years,
You might have a very low interest rate on your loan.
mhm,
Don't pay that off early.
mhm.
If
Say
you don't,
more.
yeah, because again, if your money's working for you,
Good.
it's probably earning for you more than you're paying in interest on a loan. Now, if the loan is high and it's above what you can gain in whatever investment vehicle you choose, then now you go paying that off early.
So if you have a big loan or a loan, a credit card, significant credit card debt, 20+%, then you need to take care of that because it's hard to make that kind of money.
And I look at it, a loan and a credit card debt is two different things.
Okay, good.
That's how I'm answering the question.
So from a loan standpoint, which a loan, then interest rate on loans is normally less than 5%.
Yes.
And on average, you're gonna make more than 5% on your money if you invest.
You should.
So from that standpoint, you need to go ahead and just continue to make your monthlies and free your money to work for you.
Yes.
Yeah. There was a book years ago, a good book called Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yes.
You know that? Remember that book?
Yes.
And the big concept was don't work for money, have your money work for you. And that's so true.
Yeah, it is.
Now we're saying work for money,
but
the money you make, let that money work for you. And then ultimately you don't have to work for money.
Exactly.
That's the goal. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're going to pay off a loan early, you really need to know why you're doing it.
Really why?
If you're having a cash flow issue, that's a different story.
Your budget, so you need to cut your budget, your monthly
your
budget.
Expenses are too high, and you need to cut your expenses. That's a reason to attack it. But short of that, if the interest rate's low, nope.
And it can fit into your monthly expenses. That keep paying it.
Keep paying that.
Don't just make an emotional move because you think, man, I got that taken care of. Be patient.
We've had folks we've talked about that had very low interest loans, paid them off early because it was, look at me. Well, the reality is your cash is gone, and you better not have a credit card. You're paying 28% of it. For our subscribers, take your credit card bill, flip it over. There's two things you should look for. In bold, you'll see what your interest rate is. And in a little spot, they'll tell you if you pay the minimums on this $1,000 purchase, it'll take you 14 years to pay it back.
At the minimum.
If you're paying the minimum. So, you don't want to leave credit cards are dangerous.
No, they're not.
Very dangerous.
I remember back in our day at Purdue, I had a little Sears Roebuck card. And, they were giving it to everybody. They were like business cards. You want a Sears card? Here, have one.
I still have mine. Hey, I owe them that.
You owe nothing, huh?
Of course.
But Sears had a great business plan where you get some stuff done for your car or whatever, because you're a poor college kid. And when they charge you, I remember like a $5-6 monthly bill. But it would take you. They didn't tell you that back then. It would literally take you like 30 years to pay off. That $500 will end up costing you $24,000.
Oh
yeah. So you want to understand arithmetic.
Yes.
That's excellent.
Credit cards, attack them. Loans. Think about what you're doing before you pay it off.
Good. If you can make more money, be disciplined.
Don't
just take that money and blow it. But if you can make more money with that money, then let your money work for you.
And you said something real important. If you're going to just blow the money, then pay the loan off.
If you know you're not going to invest, then pay it off. Yeah. That's good. That's excellent. All right. I think this might be our last question. And it's a debt to income ratio. What is it? Why is it important?
So, again, some arithmetic here. It is how much you owe over how much you make.
Good.
So we'll make these numbers pretty easily since we don't have our whiteboard with us. $60,000 a year job. That's $5,000 a month.
$5,000 a month.
If you were going to apply for a mortgage, the mortgage company wouldn't expect to see more than $1,500 a month in expenses.
30% of that $5,000 a month. So you can't. So no more debt, and that's cable bill, utilities, food, credit cards, all that cannot exceed 30% or $1,500.
And that, and some of them are all in. Some of them are just debt. Not
so they'll take food out.
They'll take that kind of thing out. But You got that huge and this car payment or something, you made some bad decisions.
That's absolutely a part.
It's sitting right on top of your income.
Okay.
So you can do this with your calculator.
Okay.
Divide your monthly debt over your monthly income.
So debt.
And that'll give you a ratio.
So this
and
is what they're debt.
And whatever you come out with, multiply it times 100, and it'll tell you what percentage.
What percentage is.
So 1,500 over $5,000 will be 30%, 33% times 100. That's when you'll see the number.
Excellent. You need to stay below that. So when you buy a house, that's what one of the first things the banks are looking at.
Yeah.
And debt to income ratio.
And vision. Being able to try to see farther out. This was one thing I count as a blessing. As I got a little bit older, not too old, I could see where we were going. And I knew I wanted to have a house for my 3 kids. And my wife and I, our 3 kids. So I knew, don't do anything stupid now that's going to get in the way.
Okay, good.
So that numerator,
yep.
that expense number, keep that tight.
That low.
Yeah. And I even knew we were buying our first minivan. I knew that if I owed less than 10 months on it, it wouldn't count against me. So we went in, guess how many months we owed? 9.
Okay.
So it didn't count against us.
Okay.
But young family, we're hustling the best we can.
Absolutely.
People see me now and say, I said, no, man.
Like you came for money.
Hustle game. Hustle had to.
Yeah.
Had to. It just looks different than what you all do.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there's hustle in there.
Excellent. These are great questions.
Great question.
I love this particular episode. We want to do more of these. Any of our subscribers, if you have other questions, please send us that information through whatever vehicle that you're watching us. Please subscribe, right? Please like us, right? And we'll try to address those. And also, we will be covering other topics. Mark, just as we close out, you want to kind of hit some of the other topics, maybe high level, that we'll be covering in the future?
Sure. We'll cover leverage, asset management, wealth building, and eventually we'll get to building your own personal bank, your own family bank. So that one we got to build up to.
That's awesome. I'm excited about that one. That you can borrow and pay back within the family.
Exactly.
You keep it all within the family.
Exactly. As I said today, 2 of my kids are financing their vehicles from the family bank.
From the Davis family bank.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
So why would I want my money to go to Mega Bank?
Well, they're charging you.
Yeah. The interest goes to them.
That's right. So have it come back to the family.
Exactly.
That's good.
Never leaves our family. and as I've talked to our producer about it, it is why would we let our money go someplace else? And again, speaking specifically to the African American community for a reason, that's how wealth gets away from you. Money in the Black community is like in and out.
Doesn't stay in the Black community.
It doesn't transfer. Where other races might pass through within their race 6 or 7 times before it leaves.
That's right. We need to try to change that.
Yeah. We're so popular in commercials. You know why? We buy stuff.
We buy from wherever.
Yeah.
Not from ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's the wealth building. Ultimately, we want everyone to build their wealth so they have a comfortable life, to be able to help you get to your path forward, whatever it is.
Yep. And then we'll add generational component to that.
That's good.
So those are some of the topics we'll have. There's others I have in my notes, but hopefully this was helpful to you.
Yes.
I'm sure there's a couple of nuggets in there you could take away. And if they're not on this one, just stay with us, because these episodes will continue to grow in strength, if you will, and knowledge.
Excellent. Mark, I appreciate it. It was a great episode. I enjoyed it. So thank you for everyone who's watching us, and continue to watch us. We'll be back real soon.
And thanks for the great questions.
Yes.